Morning, guys. Thanks for coming to my second video. Thanks for the feedback. I appreciate all the encouragement. It's hard to start these types of things, so for all the guys who encouraged me with the first video, I really appreciate that. Today, I am going to be talking about my testimony. So, for those who didn't watch the video yesterday, my name is Pastor John. I am a pastor with the Church of God. I am many things. I'm a husband. I'm a father. I have 3 kids, a 6-year-old son, a 4-year-old daughter, and a 2-year-old daughter. I've been married for 10 years now to my beautiful wife. I am a son. I have a mom and dad that I live close to. I have a sister. I am many things, but I am a man of God. I am a Christian. I follow Christ. I bend the knee to Christ. Christ is my King, my Savior. He is my life. It wasn't always like that, though, and that's why I want to give you my testimony. I'm going to break it up into 7 parts. I like holy numbers. The number 7 is holy, so 7 parts it is, and this is the first part. When I was a kid, I was fat. In the 90s, fat kids were more of a rarity. If you think of Full Metal Jacket, Gomer Pyle, like that was what was considered fat, in the 80s and 90s. So being a fat kid, you kind of stood out. I feel like more kids are fat today, but I had many nicknames growing up. Pumpkin Boy because my mom bought me an orange jacket. Pudding, lunchbox. I like to eat. I still like to eat. My mom likes to give me desserts. I like to watch a lot of TV. I'm a big movie guy, so eating and watching a lot of TV was my hobby. You think of the verse, John 1:1, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Well, in the beginning was John and the couch, and John was the couch, and he was with the couch. So I was bullied a lot in school with those nicknames, and it impacted me. But I'm actually glad that I was bullied because it fortified me, it gave me a sense of humor. I was able to make fun of myself easily. So I became kind of like the class clown, and a lot of my humor stems from that time in my life. One of the funny stories from that time was in middle school. So anybody who went to public school knows like every day is basically a different fried chicken meal, at least in my middle school. And I had algebra before lunch, and I I couldn't, concentrate on my math because the smell of that chicken every day in the hall. And I would ask my teacher, like, when's lunch? When's lunch? Can I go to lunch early? So one day, I think my teacher got annoyed by my pestering, and he put me out in the hallway so that I would be smelling all that chicken. And he played "What Would You Do for a Klondike Bar" while the class kind of laughed. And I think about that story now, and I'm like, if he did that today, he would be like fired. But back in the '90s, early 2000s, you could do that. It's kind of funny. But that was kind of like my, like a microcosm of my schooling. So as I got older in high school, I kept getting fatter and fatter. And the problem with high school, though, is like you start to be more self aware and you don't want to be insecure, but you are insecure. So I was struggling with my weight and I felt, disgusted with myself and I wanted a girlfriend and I wanted attention and it created this downward spiral because I'm continuing to eat to fill this void and I want a girlfriend. I'm starting to look at all these girls. Well, I'm not getting any, actual girls in my life. So early 2000s, that's when LimeWire, Kazaa came out, and we had dial-up internet, and I had Kazaa, and you probably know where this is going, but Kazaa, you search, download a pair of boobs or whatever. I mean, back then it took like an hour to download one picture. It was just stupid. But eventually I got high speed internet because I wanted to play Xbox Live with Halo 2. And when we got high speed internet, then I could download a lot more pictures. So I was getting into this porn addiction, with Google image searches. Back in the day, it wasn't as easy to access. I mean, it was there, but it's not like today. And I was fueling these desires, and I just kept going down this spiral. And by the time I was in my senior year of high school, I think something just broke in my mind, and I needed change, and I wanted real interaction with girls, and I started to go to the gym, and I was good at the gym. Like if you're a stocky guy and you go to the gym, like like if you lift weights, you're better than like those skinny guys. Like you can put muscle on easier. And well, the problem is you put fat on as well. But if you're disciplined, you can get pretty jacked, and that's what I did. I finally was like, I'm going to eat right. I'm going to lift, and I started to really gain in confidence. And I went to college, and it was it was just like a totally different person on the outside, at least, right? I met my uh, future wife at 18 because I had all this confidence from lifting, and I made a lot of changes physically. I went to school for biology. I wanted to become a doctor, but I realized that nutrition and fitness was my passion. So I ended up going, I graduated with a degree in biology, but I went to the University of Michigan and got a master's in public health and human nutrition and a master's in kinesiology. And that was like my thing. I was into science. I ended up marrying my wife at 24 after I graduated. And really, after I graduated, I became a registered dietitian. That was my passion, nutrition, and all was good, right? Like on the outside, I was super fit. I was stud. I was like Captain America. But on the outside, I appeared a certain way, but on the inside, I was still rotten. Like the habits that I had formed when I was younger with Kazaa and, the pornography and all that lust, it was growing inside of me, and I didn't have any faith. I grew up in the church. My parents, my dad made us go to church, but I always hated it. I I didn't really see the point, and I did have a relationship, with Jesus as a younger individual, but like most of you probably could, you know, agree, it kind of fades through those high school years and college years, and that's what happened to me. So I found myself in my 20s, on one hand, living my best life, right? And then on the other hand, it was just kind of broken. And that's what I'll continue to talk about in the next videos. So stay tuned for part 2, and we'll continue the journey. Thanks, guys. God bless.